Howdy, Vault Riders. Sam here, and I'm dragging you deeper into the vault where the dust ain't just Western grit, it's something stranger. Now, I've seen my share of six-shooters and cattle drives, but some filmmakers, they got it in their heads to toss monsters, some mad science, and even time travel into the mix. And the results? Well, some are wilder than a bullfrog in a tornado, and some, bless their hearts, they just plain ridiculous. Tonight, we're counting down 12 weird westerns, monsters and sci-fi. You'll see some gunslingers facing zombies, dinosaurs straying out of the desert, and even a cowboy or two tangled with vampires and radioactive mutants. These movies may not always hit the bullseye, but they sure as hell know how to keep you watching. So saddle up, partners. The frontier's about to get weird.
Come on, Hanson. All of you, come closer. You wouldn't want to disappoint your friends, Hanson. They all came here to see blood. Why don't you bring them a little closer so they can see it, huh?
Most westerns, they settle their beef with pistols at high noon. But terror in Texas town, well, it swaps out the six-shooter for something stranger than a preacher in a poker hall. A harpoon. Yeah, Sterling Hayden plays a Swedish whaler who marches into the final showdown holding that big steel spear like he's fixing to bag Moby Dick right there on Main Street. It's a sight that'll make you rub your eyes. One fella with a revolver, the other with a damn whaling iron. You half expect a school of cod to flop out of the hitching post. And here's the kicker. And the movie just plays it straight. No winking, no nudging, just dead serious. Now, it ain't no monster or space alien, but it sure is weird enough. A harpoon duel in Cattletown feels about as natural as socks on a mule. And that's why it sticks. Because sometimes the West, it wasn't just about who was the fastest draw, but who was crazy enough to fight dirty with what they had.
I don't know you. I don't want your paper.
Well, I guess that means you and I are going to have a little trouble.
Oh?
Because if you don't sign that paper, I'm going to have to kill you.
What the hell is going on?
I had a dream.
If there'd been anyone in the Yucca, you'd have sent him to hell on a shutter.
All right, I want you to just picture this. Charles Bronson as Wild Bill Hickok, stalking the prairie like Captain Ahab with a six-shooter and haunted by dreams of a giant, snow-white buffalo. That ain't no whiskey talk. That's the plot. The white buffalo steers up a frontier monster hunt where the great beast, he looks like he lumbers straight out of a country fair parade float. Smoke snorting, eyes bugging, furs stiff, that's church pews buffalo. The movie treats it dead serious, though. Bronson's a brooding, muttering, and staring off into the middle distance like a man who lost a fistfight with his own nightmares. He even teams up with Crazy Horse to track the creature down, which makes the whole thing feel like a fevered folktale. It's hokey, it's clunky, but it's also unforgettable. Watching Bronson draw down on a robo-bison, it's the kind of frontier madness that sticks in your craw. It's about as subtle as a buffalo in your outhouse. But hell, sometimes big, weird, and loud, it's its own kind of entertainment.
Now, the thunderbird is eating the sky. Soon, plenty of snow. Come to my council, my brother.
Hey! How come you speak perfect English all of a sudden?
Oh, it comes and goes, whatever dialect the mood requires.
Oh, it just comes and goes.
What's the matter, you? All time asking silly questions. Wise guy. Get on your motorcycle.
Most circuses roll into town with a couple of tired ponies and a clown who smells like some gin. Not Dr. Lau's. This one's got a sea serpent.
Do I look familiar to you?
Medusa, the devil, and Tony Randall playing so many parts, you think the man was trying to win a bet with himself. Set against a dusty frontier town, The Seven Faces of Dr. Lau, it mixes Western grit with a carnival of critters and morality tales. Folks wander into the big top looking for a little bit of fun. They come out staring down their own worst sins. It's a mashup that feels about as natural as chili on ice cream, but damn if it doesn't keep you watching. The effects are creaky, and the acting's a bit hammy.
All right, you naughty man. You see, what I really want to know is, when shall I be married again?
Never.
And the tone, it just bounces around like a jackrabbit on a hot tin. But that's the charm, my friends. It's weird and colorful, and it leaves you wondering if the Old West was ever ready for a circus like this. Guess what? It wasn't.
Combining the forms of man and goat.
It's fake. It's gotta be.
The beast, finding his victim gone, unleashes his fury.
Now, here's a critter that don't belong in any western, or really any decent movie, some might argue. The Beast of Yucca Flats, it plops a Cold War horror flick right into the desert, where a Soviet scientist gets caught in a nuclear blast and turns into a half-baked monster wandering the wasteland. You try to imagine Frankenstein's cousin after too much moonshine, stumbling around in rags and strangling folks for no clear reason. The action? It mostly consists of Tor Johnson. Yeah, you know, the bald wrestler from Ed Wood movies. He's grunting and lumbering across the scrub brush while the narrator drones like he's reading a tax manual.
Joseph Jaworski, respected scientist, now a fiend, prowling the wastelands, a prehistoric beast in the nuclear age.
There ain't a single cowboy hat in sight, but this setting's pure western wasteland. Desolate plains, lawmen tracking the beast, and then a final showdown in the dust. It's clumsy and cheap, and it's about as scary as a possum in a bread box. But there's just something weirdly hypnotic about it. A monster movie shot in the West, stitched together with duct tape and stubbornness. Sometimes, the frontier wasn't conquered by 6 guns, but it was by bad editing.
To put Jim Archer's paratroop training to good use is the only answer. A trip up into the skies and jump. And if the killer is on the plateau, kill him.
Have you ever been by a girl like this?
If you thought cattle rustlers were bad, you go try a horde of giant mutant spider women controlled by a mad scientist. Well, that's what Mesa of Lost One serves us up, and it's sitting somewhere between Western, horror, and some kind of fever you caught from bad chili. The plot? It's got a mad doctor who holed up in the desert and creates a perfect woman with spider powers, and they got long stares, stiff movements, and not much wardrobe. The poor cowboys who stumble onto this mess, they don't stand a chance. The movie's stitched together with stock footage, jarring narration.
The creature who calls himself man. He believes he owns the earth, and every living thing on it exists only for his benefit.
And an off-kilter piano score that sounds like a drunk raccoon who found the keys. It's goofy for sure, but it's got that drive-in charm. You know, like dusty mesas, wanderer gunslingers, but then suddenly, bam, we got killer spider women waiting in the shadows. It's like a poker hand gone bad. It just don't add up. But it sure makes you lean forward and mutter, well, ain't that something? Now I know some of you're all thinking, Sam, you missed my favorite piece of Western weirdness. Well, here's your chance to holler at me and fix it. You go drop a comment below and tell me what strange, monster mash cowboy flick you've seen that ought to ride in a future episode. Believe me this, the vault's deep, but sometimes it takes a sharp-eyed rider like you to remind me what's buried in the back.
Look, I'm going to make it.
Now here's one where the West meets straight-up Saturday matinee monster madness. The beast of Hollow Mountain looks like a ranching tale at first. You know, cattle go missing, ranchers are feuding, and tensions boiling over. But then the real culprit shows up. It's a big old dinosaur that's stomping out of the swampy hills. Yes, sir. Cowboys versus T-Rex. This was shot in Mexico with special effects by Willis O'Brien's proteges, the fellow who brought us King Kong nonetheless. And the dinosaur finally lumbers under the screen in the last act, looking like it wandered over from Ray Harryhausen flicks. It's clunky, but I'll be damned if it ain't fun watching sombrero-wearing ranchers scatter like chickens when the beast shows up hungry. It's the kind of what-if movie that makes you grin. What if the Wild West had to deal with Jurassic leftovers? The answer? It's a lot of screaming cattle and one hell of a messy roundup. Is it weird? You bet it is. Entertaining? Like watching a rodeo where the bull breathes fire. Mexico, it gave us plenty of mass wrestlers and monster mashups, and then it gave us El Charro de las Calaveras, and it's one of the strangest crossbreeds you're ever going to stumble across. The cowboy of the skulls rides through the countryside like Zorro's spooky cousin. He's facing down an endless parade of bargained-in creatures, like werewolves, vampires, and even a few monsters that look like they wandered off the set of a Halloween pageant. The movie's got more rubber than a tractor tire shop, and yet it's got a goofy campfire quality to it. Black-clad riders are galloping through fog, there's some strange rituals in ruined churches, and a hero who treats it all like another day at the range. It's corny as hell, but it leans so hard into the pulp that you can't help but grin. Watching a cowboy fistfight a werewolf? Now that's Saturday Night Gold right there. Now here's a weird western that don't wrestle with mummies or dinosaurs. It goes and drags Edgar Allan Poe straight onto the hacienda porch. The Living Coffin is a Mexican horror western where a cowboy lawman rides into a ranch house haunted by restless spirits and a bloodsucker too. He's got vengeful ghosts slamming doors, whispering in the dark, and a vampire lurking around like a buzzard at a picnic. It's loosely inspired by Poe's The Premature Burial, and boy, you can feel it. Coffins are creaking, shadows are stretching across adobe walls, and you have to expect somebody to wake up 6 feet under before the night's done. The film leans heavy on the atmosphere, you know, things like fog and candlelight. What makes it weird? It's the mashup. 6 shooters and sombreros on one side, and supernatural chills on the other. It's like walking into a cantina and finding Dracula sitting at the bar, ordering a tequila. Is it campy? Sure is. Creepy? You bet it is. And it proves Mexico was way ahead of the curve when it came to blending cowboy grit with gothic nightmares. You let me level with y'all. If you don't hit that like button and subscribe, then this channel's liable to dry up faster than a creek in August. And then, you know what you're going to be stuck with? All that AI-generated hogwash that kids are churning out. You're going to just have plastic voices talking about movies they ain't never watched and spitting out lists like they've been reading a grocery slip. This here's the real deal, my friends, from a grizzled fool who's actually burned his eyes on every one of these reels. So if you want Retro Vault to stick around, you give that button a tap and keep me in some business.
Drake!
And you put your hands away, boys. I got no cause to kill you.
I shot him first. I hit him. I know I hit him.
All right, folks, here's where the Western rides headfirst into some gothic horror. Curse of the Undead gives us a black-clad gunslinger who ain't just quick on the draw, 'cause he's a vampire too. Yeah, fangs and all. This movie's got your standard land dispute and town troubles.
You couldn't wait for my paw to get cold before you moved in and busted our fences down tonight. You gonna deny that? 'Cause if you do, you're a liar!
Did you move in on their ranch again?
When folks start turning up pale with bite marks, this story takes a sharp turn into Dracula County. The vampire cowboy drifts in, he's brooding under his wide-brim hat, and suddenly, you've got shootouts where the winner ain't just the fastest draw, but it's the one who survives the sunrise. It's low budget, sure, but it takes itself seriously, and that makes it work, you know? The idea of a vampire stalking the prairie, it feels about as natural as a gator in the horse trough, but it sticks in your head. It's spooky and stylish, and just the right kind of weird to remind you that the frontier, it wasn't just lawless. It might have been downright cursed.
Only a wooden stake driven through the heart could destroy a creature of this kind. When I returned to my son's coffin, his body was no longer there. Only my dagger remained. God forgive me.
If you can only watch one Cowboys vs. dinosaurs flick, you better make it the Valley of the Gwangi. This thing is pure Saturday matinee bliss. We got our legend Ray Harryhausen bringing the stop-motion magic to the dusty frontier. This story, it's about a travel and circus that captures a tiny, prehistoric horse, which leads the Cowboys into a hidden valley of dinosaurs. And before long, they're lassoing Allosauruses like it's a rodeo stock, dragging it back to town, and surprise, surprise, it breaks loose and starts eating the locals. The effects are the real star. Harryhausen dinos look better than half the CGI we see today, and watching cowboys with ropes trying to wrangle a dinosaur, it's the kind of image that makes you lean forward like a kid again. Is this one weird? Absolutely. Wonderful? Damn right it is.
That's the last word I want to hear on the goddamn jackass people, man.
Holy God.
What the hell are you looking at?
Oh, shit! Oh, shit!
Only in the 80s could you get a movie about a dirt bike racer who accidentally rides straight into the Old West, thanks to time travel experiment gone sideways. Well, that here is Time Rider. Fred Ward plays Lyle Swan. He's a motocross hotshot who suddenly finds himself chased by outlaws. And confusing the hell out of frontier folks with his roaring bike and flashy gear. The gunslingers, they think he's some kind of demon. Settlers, they think he's a savior. And Lyle, he just wants to get back to the track. It's part action flick, part fish out of water comedy, and part sci-fi to western oddity. You just try to imagine Mad Max wandering through Gunsmoke, and you've got the right trail. It don't hold water, but it's so off-kilter, you can't look away.
Well, and then he jumped up and down on it. Up and down. Yeah, he jumped up and down on it. And
Is this one weird? Like a coyote in church. And yet, it's kind of fun as hell.
Take off your clothes.
What?
You heard me, Mr. Swan.
I do not believe this. You can't. I mean, a girl can't.
I'm very serious.
When you're ready, stranger.
And here we are, folks. Our top pick of weird westerns for the countdown. This here is the Bang Bang Kid, and it gives us a spaghetti western with a twist. The hero, he's a robot gunslinger, built by a wacky inventor to clean up a corrupt town. Yeah, you heard that right. So before Westworld and before Terminator, he gave us a mechanical cowboy with a quick draw and a stiff gait. He's clanking his way through shootouts with desperados. The townsfolk, they don't know what to make of him, and the villains, they underestimate him. It's like a parody of Western tropes, wearing spurs in a bathtub. You know, awkward, noisy, and bound to leave a mark. It's cheap and goofy, and it's just pure joy if you've got a taste for the strange.
I told you to leave town. I'll take the drummer. You get him.
A robot cowboy fighting crime? That's not just weird, that's downright inspired. The Bang Bang Kid takes the top spot because it don't just bend the rules of the Western. It tosses him out the saloon window and builds a wind-up toy to replace him.
It's too bad, but the fact is that cleanliness is next to useless in a gunfight.
Well, there you have it, Vault Riders. That's 12 of the strangest Westerns ever saddled up. From vampire cowboys to robot gunslingers, those flicks proved the frontier wasn't just rough. It could be downright bizarre. And if you had yourself a laugh, or maybe you found a new movie to track down, I need you to go hit that like button and subscribe. So I know you want more strange gems pulled out of the vault. And tell me in the comments, what's the weirdest Western you ever laid your eyes on? Maybe you'll see it pop up in the next round. Well, until then, walk and load, partner, and keep the reels a-rolling.